So you guys may have heard of this really cool character who was born into very humble beginnings, into a very lower class family, who eventually died a tragic death due to the sinful evils of this world, but then was miraculously brought back to life by the god of this world to be a symbol of hope for its people. And also, their name starts with a J. Well, if you haven't, of course I'm talking about the lovable character Jinhsi from Wuthering Waves, and she just so happens to also be the most recent playable character. And let me tell you guys right now, I have a very high opinion of Jinhsi, and I'm sure that you've seen all the praise for her online. She's been a ton of fun, almost game breaking. But the thing is that she comes smack dab in the middle of two other really cool and really hot characters, which is like a double whammy of things you have to be careful of in these gacha games. If you are someone who does not like to spend money on these games, or just a low spender and you're kind of in this conundrum right now on, oh, I can only get one of them, which one do I pick? Well, I'm going to try to help you out here. I'm going to talk about Jinhsi, I'm going to talk about Changli, and kind of discuss which one might be the better play for your account, depending on how you're feeling, where you're at, and what your current characters look like. Before I get into the video though, I just have a quick plug for my Discord server, because I am a lonely man and I need more people to talk about these gacha games with, particularly Wuthering Waves. If you're going to play Zenless Zone Zero, if you play really any other gacha games, please come chat with me. I would love it. I have the link down in the description below. Also, subscribe please. I love you, and enjoy the video. So let's start off with who we have already, and that is of course Jinhsi. So if you're not sure what she does, let me just tell you, she is a pure main DPS. She might have a place in quick swap comps because she does have a pretty good burst with her ult, but primarily if you're playing Jinhsi, you want to play her as the main DPS who's going to get the most amount of field time on your team. So with that being said, that is generally a bad sign in gacha games, especially early on in a game's life cycle, because that means they're going to get power crept sooner than supports will. If you're not sure what I mean by that, let me try to elaborate further. So in these gacha games, particularly the action combat ones, there's always going to be a top DPS, and more than likely they're the most recently released DPS. That's usually how it goes. Right now in Wuthering Waves 1.1, that is Jinhsi. I'm telling you guys, if you pull her right now, she's gonna carry you through what endgame content we have right now. Tower of Adversity, the hologram fights, all of that stuff, she's just gonna melt through everything. And it feels really good in this patch. But as soon as that next main DPS comes out, she is gonna go down in value, because that's just the nature of these games. They want to sell characters, so they're gonna make the next main DPS do more damage than her. Now, that being said, as you can see on the screen, I do have a Jinhsi on my account, and I've been playing her for the last couple of days, and I'm here to simp for her a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because this character has honestly made me fall back in love with this game. She has the most addicting playstyle out of all the characters I've played. It's almost like a little rhythm game that you play with her. She has a rotation that lasts a long time. It's pretty obvious, it's pretty easy to pick up, but she also has a pretty high skill cap while being broken. So this isn't a character like Jian, who honestly I hate his playstyle, because yeah, he's broken and he's gonna kill everything once you pop his ult, but that's all he's got going for him. You just pop his ult and you kind of hold down your mouse button and everything dies. Whereas this character has that game breaking damage while not being super hard to play, and just not being super brain dead like Jian is. She's a perfect balance between like brain dead Jian and then something like the Calcharo Yinlin team, where it's like you're gonna break your fingers and it's super hard to play, super punishing because you can accidentally cancel a lot of moves, you have to be quick swapping all the time. I think that Jinhsi is the perfect balance between brain dead and kind of like giga brain, right? And she's the best DPS in the game. Okay, that's enough simping. I'm gonna stop now, and to be completely honest with you guys, I knew that I was going to pull Jinhsi from the minute I saw her in the story. I didn't care if she was some shitty gun sub DPS who didn't offer any buffs. I was going to pull for her because I love her design. The white-haired sword girls, I got a type and I stick to it, okay? It didn't matter what she did, I was going to pull for her. So I'm a little biased. But with that being said, let me talk about whether you personally should pull this character objectively. So if you can only pick one of these two, Changli or Jinhsi, here's the criteria I would take into account on whether I want to pull Jinhsi or not. One, did I pull Jian? Jian, I think, is the best DPS in the game besides her. So if you didn't pull her, you might be struggling in that TOA and on the hologram fights. Maybe not so much on hologram fights, but in TOA, if you're trying to really push that end game and you didn't pull Jian, I would recommend that you pull Jinhsi, because she is going to add tremendous value to your account right now and help you push further and gain more progress on your account. That if you just keep building more supports, that's not going to help you. You need a main DPS right now if you didn't pull Jian. So if you didn't get him, consider pulling Jinhsi. The second big thing I would consider if you are deciding whether or not to pull Jinhsi is if you pulled Yinlin or not. And if you did, I would say if you have to choose between Changli or Jinhsi, I believe that Jinhsi is going to be more valuable to you as of right now, because not only is Yinlin Jinhsi's best support, so you'd have a great team set up, but Yinlin is going to offer very similar things to Changli. And if you're not sure what I mean, you haven't seen Changli's kit yet, well, I have a surprise for you guys. If you didn't know about this, you can go into the gallery here in game and look at that. We can already see Changli and her full kit in the game right now. This is not a leak or anything. So let's take a look. She's very similar to Yinlin. She has a lot of good bursts. She's going to do a lot of damage, and you can kind of quick swap back and forth to do quick little bursts with her. Resonance Liberation is another big burst. Pretty good multiplier, right? Like 610% damage. So almost exactly like Yinlin. And if you look at her outro skill, this is also a lot like Yinlin. Because while this character is a little different because they buff fusion damage rather than electro damage, they also have that same universal buff of the Resonance Liberation damage being amplified by 25%, which is a carbon copy of Yinlin's outro skill. Now what this means is that if you already have a copy of Yinlin, Changli is going to provide very similar buffs as she is, so she's not going to provide quite as much value as if you don't have Yinlin. That being said, of course, there are niche situations where you would want to run Changli instead of Yinlin. For example, just like Yinlin is Kalcharo's best partner because of her electro damage amplify, Changli is going to be a huge boon to Encore because of this fusion damage amplify on top of that Resonance Liberation damage amplify. So if you are an Encore main, Changli is going to be like, you need her on your account. Other than that situation though, where you have a fire main DPS, Changli and Yinlin are really providing very similar buffs, and if you already have Yinlin, I would really consider just skipping Changli, because unless you really need her for that fire damage, it's not going to make a huge difference whether you're running her or her. In fact, I think Yinlin might be better because she's got the coordinated attacks. I haven't looked at their multipliers, but she might even do more damage, so you know, it might be a skip for Changli if you already have Yinlin. So now that we've covered both characters, let me give you like a final summary on which one I think you should pull. So should you pull Jinhsi? Well, let's consider this. Did you pull Jian? If not, you might need a new main DPS, so you should probably pull on Jinhsi. Did you pull Yinlin? Well, you have the best sub DPS for Jinhsi, and also you might not need Changli's buff, so I'd probably go for Jinhsi. Now let's consider some other stuff. Are you an Encore main? Do you love the fusion DPS? Maybe pull for Changli because she's going to be a huge buff to that. Did you not get Yinlin and you're looking for just a more universal sub DPS? You should definitely pull for Changli because she's going to be a huge boon to your account. And the last thing I would consider is, are you a super free-to-play player and you know that you only want to invest on characters right now that are going to last for the foreseeable future on your account? If that is the case, you're always going to want to skip these main DPSs and go for characters like Changli and Yinlin, who are arguably always going to have a place on teams for the rest of the game's life cycle. And that's my advice to you guys. If you're on the fence and you can only get one, there's a lot of things to consider. It's a very nuanced conversation, and that's why I hope that list of criteria to go through will help you make that final decision. If you have any more questions about it, please let me know down in the comments, and I will be as helpful as I can and kind of relay my opinions even further. Until then though, that's really all I got for you guys. I'm still loving this game. 1.1 has been an absolute blast. I've been loving playing Jinhsi. It was fun to play Changli in the story as well. I'm really excited to see what new characters they come out with. Obviously they're just gonna keep improving if we're going off what we've seen so far, and super excited for the future of this game. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I really appreciate you watching this far. Please like and subscribe if it was helpful or you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.